Once upon a time, there was an egg named Banyan, who longed to be the most valuable thing in the world. He dreamed that if only he could break out of his shell and fly like a bird, he would find his worth. But it was impossible for him. He wasn't fertilized and was destined to be a mere food supplement. "There's no way an egg can fly. You're just a plain, tacky-looking egg," scoffed one of his siblings. But Banyan paid no mind to the mockery. He continued training, believing he could someday crack his shell and soar into the sky. Soon, he and his siblings were sold to a cook. Each day, one of them was taken and turned into a scrambled egg. It was painful for Banyan to hear his siblings' screams. The sound of cracking shells haunted him like a nightmare. His siblings were terrified, and one by one, they gave up their will to live. But despite the cold, harsh conditions of the refrigerator, the fear that gripped him, Banyan never stopped preparing himself, hoping that one day he could fly. One morning, the cook returned. He reached out his hand, and was about to pick one of them up. It was the smallest egg, trembling and crying in fear. Seeing his youngest sibling so afraid, Banyan felt a pang of pity. Stepping forward, he said, "Lord Cook, you'd better take me instead. He is the smallest among us, and you won't be satisfied with him. So take me. I know I may not look pleasant, but I have enough for you today." The cook looked at Banyan and replied, "You are not the one I was going to take today. Aren't you afraid of being cracked? You could live another day without that fear." "My lord, I am trembling with the fear of death. I am full of ambition to live. I've always wanted to break free from my shell and fly, even though it seems impossible. I have held onto that hope my entire life, and it still drives me to seek a way to live," Banyan replied. The cook paused and asked, "Why are you sacrificing yourself for him? Wouldn't it be better for you to live longer and try to achieve your dream?" Banyan responded, "Lord, the reason I wanted to fly was to be free and to become the most valuable being in the world. But how could I fly with this heavy burden of pity in my heart?" The cook was moved by Banyan's words and decided to take him instead. Banyan faced the bowl, ready to meet his fate. Fear and pain flooded his senses, but he closed his eyes calmly and embraced the moment. The time came. He was lifted and cracked against the edge of the bowl. Each impact sent waves of pain throughout his fragile body. Stirred with chopsticks, he blended into a golden yellow. As he felt himself becoming complete, a gentle warmth and drowsiness overtook him. He drifted into a deep sleep, dreaming of being fried with chopped onions and paprika. They swirled together, forming a circle in the pan. A few minutes later, the sudden splatter of hot oil jolted Banyan awake. He slowly opened his eyes, feeling the heat, and checked his body. As he turned to see if his back was roasting properly, he heard cries of pain from the other ingredients. Banyan moved instinctively, gathering them into himself, wrapping around them like a mother cradling her child. Curled in this posture, he drifted back into sleep, preparing himself to become something new. When Banyan awoke, he found himself transformed into a beautiful golden omelette. He was served as breakfast, and the cook ate him with satisfaction. As Banyan was consumed, Cook felt a warmth spreading inside of him, rising from his belly and up to his head. He stood up, looking out the window. There, the bird soared freely through the sky, defying gravity with grace.